All right, so we're here with AeroSVJ. Aero is one of my mods. Great dude, honestly. One of the smartest guys I've ever talked to, not only around FGO, but definitely just gaming in general. Really cool guy in several communities in the FGO category and elsewhere. So really happy to have him here. Aero, thanks so much for doing this, man.
Of course, dude.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. This is obviously going to be public. This won't be locked behind the Patreon tiers. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Just your average weeb. I started playing FGO, started playing seriously in maybe 2-3 years ago. But when the game first came out, I remember downloading it because I had watched Unlimited Blade Works and Zero recently.
And that was enough to draw you in?
Yeah, it was just enough to draw me in, but I didn't really start playing seriously until it was around Summer 3's first run.
Nice.
That's when I started playing seriously.
Did you enjoy Summer 3, or was that a rough one to start the game on?
I think it was pretty rough for new cap, but I think I did manage to finish the entire point ladder.
Man, that's impressive. It's definitely a grind, that event. Any fond memories from that first summer or first little bit of time when you started the game?
I just thought it was the concept of welfare servants was super cool. Getting John Alter Berserker for free, MP5. I thought that was the best thing.
Absolutely. So what brought you to Twitch? What made you first kind of say, hey, I'm gonna check out Twitch?
So I was mainly a YouTube guy. I'd always watched streams and stuff on YouTube. The first person I'd actually watched streams for regularly was Etika, rest in peace. But he would talk about how he didn't like Twitch or whatever. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with Twitch? And I'd go over and check on Twitch. And then I started playing FGO eventually. I'm like, oh, I wonder if people play FGO on Twitch. I can't imagine it's a huge category. And then I just found a few people there.
And the rest is history, huh?
Pretty much.
Rest in peace to Etika, like you said. That's a good one. That's a good one. So let's kind of go back to OG Aero, to little kid Aero. Did you play any games as a kid? And if you did you have any favorite or memorable games?
For sure. My favorite series from my childhood is the Ratchet and Clank series.
Oh yeah.
Yes, platforming guns, just for a young boy, whatever, it's just the best thing, platforming. The newest one, it's actually still going. The newest one came out for PS5. That one was a blast.
I remember seeing the trailer for that when they were announcing. I think this is part of the initial batch of announcements for the PS5, way before it was even out. And people were just going crazy about it. I didn't get to play more than one. I only played one Ratchet and Clank when I was a kid. But even I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. They're bringing this to the most current generation. It looks amazing, looks so fun. So did you get to play the most recent one?
Yeah, because I live with my family, right? My brother has a PS5. We bought the game. I got to play it through its entirety. It was a ton of fun.
Nice. All right, that's pretty cool. Any other memorable games from when you were a kid, or was Ratchet and Clank the big one that stands out to you?
The Dragon Ball Z fighting games. Then there was Jak and Daxter. I played that series a good bit
nice.
Too. It was mostly just playing through those again and again, and then SpongeBob as well. I played that a ton. Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, I feel like the Dragon Ball fighting games were a rite of passage for a lot of kids. Either you had it or one of your friends had it, and at some point or another, you either watched them play it or you played it too.
For sure.
So circling back to FGO, like you mentioned, we talked about what first got you into the game and how it was Unlimited Blade Works that kind of kept you in as far as interest goes. You came in, Summer 3 was when you really stuck around, but you had tried it out earlier than that. Is Unlimited Blade Works your favorite Fate show or movie?
So, Unlimited Blade Works, it was the first one I watched, but a friend of mine had recommended Zero first, but I'm like, I don't think that's the first one I watched, and I looked up the order, and I think the general consensus was Unlimited Blade Works and then Zero, so that's the order I went to.
Nice. As far as any Fate media since Unlimited Blade Works or Fate Zero, Babylonia, the Camelot movies, etc., do any of them stand out to you, or is there any that you haven't seen that you'd want to see?
Oh, I've seen pretty much all the animated ones except for Last Encore. I just refuse to watch that one. But so Babylonia is one of my favorite, actually definitely my favorite work. The sound design, the animation, just everything about it is honestly perfect. I'd give it a 10 out of 10 personally.
Sometimes I'll go back and just watch scenes from Babylonia just to experience them again. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
Dude, same. There's like even like the little bits where Foe like attacks Ishtar. Like any moment from there is just great.
Absolutely. The first Hassan scene gives me chills still every time I watch it. I mean, when Merlin is walking and you don't really know like what he's talking about when he starts talking about death, and then it like all starts to click that the old man and like that's who that was and how here he is.
Dude.
Oh, so good, so good.
And then the sound design for Gilgamesh using Enuma Elish.
Not only him, but when Enkidu uses it too on Tiamat, it's the same, like just this depth of sound. I loved it so much. What about any favorite characters or servants in general for FGO?
So, of course, I have to say Tamamo no Mae, because I was your average weeb when I got into Fate a few years ago, and like my third entry, I believe, was Fate Extra. Like, I watched Unlimited Blade Works 0, and then I played Extra, so and she's just stuck with me ever since.
Did you play it all the way through?
Yeah, I did.
Nice. Very nice. Dude, how did you find the combat system in that?
Oh god, it was so boring. I just cheated. I wanted to read the story, nothing else.
I would do the same thing. If I go back and play it again, I'm not putting up with the whole like unlimited rock paper scissors works thing that they has.
Yeah.
Oh man. So you said Tamamo. Obviously she doesn't have like a featured solo event in the game per se, but is there a favorite story chapter or event or time in the game that you've experienced so far?
So my favorite story chapter is definitely Lost Belt 2. For whatever reason, the consequences of taking down a Lost Belt didn't really hit me until I'd finished the Norse Lost Belt. It was Gerda's final moments that made me realize that this was very different from fixing a singularity.
Yeah.
And it's the only instance we have of another servant or being like usurping the role of Lost Belt King. I just think it was a very unique chapter.
Yeah, I agree. The jump thing. Oh man.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. And I knew the story going into it, unfortunately, but I still was not ready for jump. Wasn't ready for it, man.
Oh yeah.
And then the CE, they had to go and put her on the cracked essence too.
Oh my god, why do they have to do that to us? Every Lost Belt CE.
Exactly. Every Lost Belt CE, it's like, why are you choosing to hurt me right now? Why are you doing this to me?
They love doing it.
They do. So LB2 takes the cake for you. Knowing what we know about the next 2 years in FGO, are you excited about anything else on the horizon, whether it's a Lost Belt chapter, whether it's an event or something else?
I'm super excited for the release of Muramasa and Koyanskaya of Light.
Nice.
I just like the big hitters are, and just their designs, you know, everything about them is great. As well as Morgan and Vargas, and I guess including that would be Lost Belt 6. I'm super excited to read that after it's localized.
Oh, yeah.
Just a ton of stuff I can't list all here.
Right. That's a good problem to have, honestly, when it comes to anticipation. That there's just so many things that you can't even keep track of it. That's a really good problem to have. Speaking of problems, are there any servants or CEs that you don't have that you wish that you did had?
So, speaking from, I'm going to talk about like general pool / story log. I wish I had Artoria, Saber, and Lancer. Just two really cool servants that I just never got spooked by. I keep getting ones that I don't want, like Scheherazade. And also Achilles. His end piece is super cool. I want him.
Oh, you don't have Achilles? Oh my gosh.
No, I wish I did.
Oh, my heart goes out to you now.
I think Rider is like my least populated class.
There's a lot of good riders in the game. It's easy to have a good rider even if you don't have like a gold rider. So hopefully it's not too detrimental. I
got Ivan. Him and Ryoma actually helped me beat Demeter first try.
Dude, Ivan is probably, I don't know how it's still the case, but he's probably one of the most underrated servants in the game year by year.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
He was able to pull that off without his battery upgrade. I think that was just insane.
Yeah, he's an absolute unit in a lot of different ways. What about any craft essences?
Oh, there's a ton. Like since I started, like maybe like halfway into the game's life, I would say I still need Holy Night Supper, Golden Sumo, Dive to Blue Ox, Demon King, Halloween Princess, Sweet Crystal, all the top tier ones.
So just to kind of segue over to a different game that we both play and we've both talked about in the past, Genshin Impact. Honestly, you've got one of the better accounts and handles on the game that we've seen in our community. So when it comes to Genshin, what is it that got you into the game originally?
So I'd seen like trailers and stuff before the game had launched. I was excited for it. I saw some similarities to Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I think that was just enough for me to give it a try.
So have you been playing since it launched?
I played it for a few months, but I stopped playing it at some point, though I wish I hadn't, because there's so many good characters like Ganyu and Zhongli. I wish I hadn't stopped playing.
It seems like a lot of people started playing Genshin for a little while and then like came back to it or stopped playing and then started a new account. It's one of those rare times where the game is like doing exceptionally well by the numbers, profitability wise, but it seems like it had some growing pains early on.
Definitely.
So now that we're past those times, do you have any favorite characters or story chapters or events or times in the game so far?
Everything about Yellen is just perfect. Her kits, she's the closest to perfection. Great design, kit, everything. Her story was really good. I was not expecting it to be that good. It's one of the very few things that doesn't make me spam left click and just look at something else on my other monitor.
Right. And she at C0 is better, honestly, potentially hot take. She at C0 is better than most of the characters in the game. Like, it blows my mind just how capable
You're absolutely
she is.
right. Sheer amount of damage she does is just insane.
And it's just so consistent too. When it comes to Yellen, we had the very long patch, the Ayaka indefinite patch. Obviously, there was some real world things going on that kind of delayed Genshin development, which is understandable. But it kind of perpetuated the leak culture even further, and it seems to be just the standard now. So what are your thoughts on the leak culture that Genshin Impact has? Are you okay with it? Is it something that you wish was a mystery, or do you actually look forward to the leaks?
I'm a big fan of the leak culture. Like, it's super helpful for planning ahead. It helps me decide if I want to drop money on Prima Gems and roll for more copies and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm the same way, especially when it comes to characters that either are really good for the game, Kazuha comes to mind, or that I'm really looking forward to that I didn't get the first time, Shenhe comes to mind. When it comes to those two, I don't know why, but not having them right now, but knowing that I'll probably have a heads up about when Shenhe's coming back and I can prepare for Kazuha coming soon, it just kind of takes the edge off for me personally.
Yeah.
So knowing that you do like the leak culture about Genshin, is there anything that you would change about the game or anything associated with the game?
There's a ton. Like, for the love of God, MiHoYo needs to fix Ayaka and Mona's sprint. It gets stuck on the smallest stuff. Sometimes you can't even see what you get stuck on. And Yellen's her skill has the same problem, actually. It might be even worse than Ayaka and Mona. And then there's the dialogue. Why is there no skip button? It'd be a smaller complaint if I could just spam left click, but they purposely added a delay that you can't advance the text until they're halfway done with their current text box.
It kind of reminds me of FGO, where you can't skip Noble Phantasms. And I think everybody, to some degree or another, would like at least the option to skip the NPs. Maybe not everyone would do it, but it seems like something that a lot of people would want the option to have. And the answer always given is, well, players shouldn't want to skip it. They should be so good that players don't want to skip it. I have a feeling HoYoverse Debs would say the same thing. Well, the dialogue is so good that you shouldn't want to skip it, but it's just not realistic.
No, not at all. It's it feels like the higher ups give the writers a word count. It really feels like that.
Oh, you might be right. I've never thought about it that way. Never thought about it that way. Anything else that you would change about the game?
The resin system. It just refills way too slow.
And the fact that you can only do, what, is it 5 condensed resin?
Not even. I think you get 4 condensed resin a day.
Obviously, we're juxtaposing FGO and Genshin a lot here, but the Blue Apple system that FGO just got, where it's basically unlimited stamina conversion. As soon as that was introduced, I immediately thought of Genshin and just how nice that would be.
Right.
So I'm gonna throw a curveball question at you here,
right.
one that we didn't prep for. But when it comes to Genshin, what are your least favorite commissions? Ones that you see it and you're like, oh god, I don't want to do this.
Honestly, all the ones that just require you to talk to NPCs and then go somewhere else, do something, and then go back to the NPC to finish the mission.
Right.
It's like, just let me fight things and end it.
Yes, absolutely. The Elon Musk one.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, dude. I didn't get the easy achievement for that for like the first 5 times I got it because I would purposely tank the dialogue just to get into a fight and get it over with.
Same.
Well, speaking of fights, Xenoblade is on the horizon with Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yes,
I know
sir.
that you are big on Xenoblade. You might even be more excited about it than I am, which is saying something. So let's talk about Xenoblade here for a little bit. What got you into the Xenoblade series to start with?
This started way back in like 2014. I didn't get into it as soon as it came out, but a Let's Player on YouTube by the name of Chugga Conroy, he started his playthrough around June of 2014. I was still in high school back then, but I was in an exchange program. I was actually in Japan when I started watching his playthrough of that. The story elements of the game pulled me in, and I was hooked. I didn't actually get to play the game myself until like much later.
Nice. You said you visited Japan?
Yeah, it was an exchange program. I got to go for free. Then students from there came to our school, and it was like a 10-day trip. It was a lot of fun.
Dude, I had no idea you've been to Japan. Where did you go in Japan?
So we landed in Tokyo. We stayed there for a few days, and then we flew to Okinawa. Had a homestay there for like a day or two, and then back to Tokyo to do more touring there.
And it was just touring the whole time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Do you have like a favorite time period or moment or souvenir from that?
Definitely the homestay. You would get to see what life is like for people that live in Japan, and I got to have dinner, just be part of a Japanese family. I think it was a great experience to have.
God, I'm jealous now. I didn't know about that. That's cool. Sorry, which of the Xenoblade games has been your favorite one so far?
That's hard to say. I love the story of the first game, but the gameplay of the second game. But if I had to choose, I think I'll choose the first game because the story is just that good.
How do you feel about Xenoblade Chronicles X then?
I actually haven't played it.
Okay, you could keep it that way.
Yeah, I don't want to play it until they port it, and I don't think they will because I think something about the UI or the software is just hard to port over.
It's kind of problematic. So the worst part about Xenoblade Chronicles X, in my opinion, is that it's not a terrible game. Like, it's really not. But it shouldn't have been called a Xenoblade game. It doesn't really like jive with 1 or 2 and what we've seen.
Right,
in 3.
it doesn't look or feel like Xenoblade.
Exactly, 100%. Like, some of the music was really awkward too. I think there's like this rap theme, and I'm a rap music fan, and this rap song that they had in the game was a little bit cringe, but it's just weird as a Xenoblade game, so you could probably leave it unplayed.
Right, and it's like it's missing the cool title screen with the cool red sword and the field of grass.
Yeah, dude, you gotta have that.
Yep.
Who's been your favorite character so far in Xenoblade Chronicles 1 or 2?
So it's from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. My favorite character is Zeke von Genbu. It's because in the Japanese dub, he is voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, Kenjiro Tsuda. He did Sigurd in Surtur.
No way.
Yeah.
What? I did not know that. Sigurd's VA?
Yes. If you play through the second game again, play in the Japanese dub, he absolutely kills the role. He does such a good job.
We're talking like Dainsleif here, right?
Yeah.
What? That's
he can do literally any role. Like, his comedy roles are like even better, honestly, than his serious roles.
What? This is blowing me away. I had no idea about this. He's absolutely, in my opinion, one of the best VAs out there.
Absolutely.
Wow. All right, yeah, no, I'll have to definitely check that out, even if it's just like a YouTube video of like the dialogue. Wow, that's really cool.
I'm gonna send you some clips after this. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I had no idea about that. So if that's your favorite character, do you have a least favorite character?
My least favorite character. Let me think. It's hard. I think I pretty much like all the characters. I don't think I have a least favorite. I like pretty much everyone.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to think about it, and I guess
hard.
like my gut reaction answer would be one of the villains, but that makes it a good villain, so it's not really like a good answer, you know. I don't know that I could answer that one either.
I would, if I had to pick one, I would maybe say Charla. She's just kind of there.
Yeah, I could respect that decision. So, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, one of the like most prominent features or aspects of it was the blade system. And when I was playing through it, I didn't notice what was going on. I just was kind of lost in the game, and I had a ton of fun. But looking back and also kind of like seeing what others' perspectives on the game were, the blade system definitely was kind of polarizing for some. What were your thoughts on it? Did you mind the blade system in Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
Actually, I love the blade system because it meant that you could change up your playstyle at any point in the game. The customizability for all the playable characters is just insane because of it.
Did you mind that you like couldn't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna just get this blade"?
It is sometimes, but just because how flexible it was, it didn't. I pretty quickly got over it.
So, trick question here: Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Are you excited?
I'm ecstatic. I'll be finding every excuse I can to drop what I'm doing and play it.
Are you gonna play it as soon as you possibly can?
Most likely.
What have you seen about the game that you're looking forward to?
So I've only seen the official trailers and a few tweets about rumors. About the rumors, they'd be like returning characters, and trailers have confirmed that. So I'm super excited to see what it has in store.
One thing that's really interesting to me about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, as far as like the footage we've seen, we haven't seen like a ton of gameplay, but we've seen enough, in my opinion, so far. But one of the things that has really stood out to me is there's these like little bitty callbacks to some previous Xenoblade either characters or even locations, which makes sense universally speaking. But one of the things that stood out to me is that some of the characters look like either descendants or maybe even like relatives of some sort of past characters. I don't know if you've seen any of those. Like the wings on the head of one of them looks like Melia.
Yep.
One of them really reminds me of Nia. So that'll be cool. But are there any changes or improvements from previous Xenoblade games that you would like to see in Xenoblade Chronicles 3?
So I've only watched the direct one, so if this info is already confirmed, deconfirmed, or whatever, that's my bad. But I really like the blade system from 2, so I'm hoping that this new class change system that they're introducing can be done like mid-battle, so it'd be kind of like the blade system as well. And also the element orb system, that was a ton of fun to do with chain attacks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hope they keep that in there.
So let's talk about some general gaming things here, general gaming questions. Are there any other games or game series that you currently enjoy or are looking forward to in the future?
So at the moment, there's not too many, but one I'm definitely excited for is Breath of the Wild 2. The first one was a blast, and I'm looking forward to see what they'll add on top of the first one.
I feel like it's one of those things that I'm not gonna believe it's real until I'm playing it. It's just been so anticipated. I was looking forward to the sequel before I even finished the first one, so I definitely understand that feeling.
It's good. I like that they're delaying it. Like, it's always good to have a delayed finished product rather than a rushed unfinished product like we've seen with like Cyberpunk 2077. That was a disaster.
Oh yeah. And when it comes to games like that, it's sad because I'll read here and there, or I guess talk to people as well that are like, well, you know what? It's better now. Like they fixed it. It's good. And it's like, it's tough to get over that bad first impression. It's tough to kind of like move on or give it another chance even.
It really is. Like I played when it came out. I played for like the first 3 months, and then I was waiting for patches to come out. It just took forever, and I lost interest. I never got back to it, even with mods.
Same. I remember I was playing it like the second day, right? So I got it. It came in the mail. I think it was an Amazon pre-order, and the day after that, I'm cleared out my schedule. I was just gonna play it all day, right? And I remember being in this like Crown Victoria, but like, you know, futuristic, obviously, version. And I'm driving down a road, and suddenly I was in a building. Just the car just moved to a building, and that's when I was like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna work out.
I think they even did delay it, but I guess the higher ups just wanted the game out, and they didn't let them finish working on all the kinks.
Kind of seems that way, yeah. Speaking of delays and sequels, one thing that I always like to ask people when I talk about these kinds of things is if there's any game that you could give a sequel or a remake to, what would it be and why?
This is a great question. So, one series that I wish got a sequel, or maybe even a remake would be fine too. The Danganronpa series, if you've heard of that one.
I have, yeah.
It's a great murder mystery series. It's a visual novel. It's I think a puzzle game. I guess you would put that category in. Visually, gameplay wise, story and characters, they're all fun to learn about and play. And the fun fact, the artist that does the character designs for that did the art for Dante's and Cleopatra.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a very distinct art style too.
Yeah, so if you look up like Danganronpa characters, you'll see that the art style is like exactly the same.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool. Have you played a lot of? I'm assuming it's a series. I don't know a ton about Danganronpa. I just have seen some on Twitch.
Yeah, I've played all the main series ones. There's the first, there's second, and third one's called V3, but that's like a spoiler-related reason why it's called V3. I can't say.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
And you've played all of them, I assume.
The main series ones, yeah.
Main series ones. Which of those did you really, really enjoy and why?
I would say the third one because it was just it was up like modern. The quality was all up to standards, and I think it was the first one actually released for like modern consoles. The first two games were like originally for PSP, and so the third one it came out a while after, and it looked fantastic because it released on like the PS4 and PC.
Nice. And you said the point of these is like a murder mystery type thing?
People usually relate it to like Ace Attorney.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
It's similar to that, but there's like a lot more I would have to explain.
Is it more of like the detective work and less of like the courtroom stuff?
It's a weird combination. You go around and talk to people. You're the main character. I guess you're gonna be the one deducing everything because it wouldn't be a game otherwise. But it's mostly about character interactions and finding clues.
Very nice.
More
nice.
so than legal stuff.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. I've thought about checking it out before, having seen people play it. I didn't know anything about it though, so this is all really good information for me personally. It sounds interesting. It sounds like one that probably deserves a remake then. It sounds like there's a lot to it.
Definitely. The first one could really use a new, like, fresh coat of paint.
So, last question. This was for fun. If there were to be a video game that you have played, which one would you not want to get stuck living in, a la isekai style? So, if any game you've played, which one would you not want to be stuck living in?
So, actually, this is a good chance to explain. For this one, I'll also answer Danganronpa because you're forced into a killing game where if you want to escape the area that you and other unwilling participants are locked in, you have to murder one of them and get away with it after a trial of sorts.
Oh, wow.
You have to put the blame on an innocent person, and if the murderer successfully gets away after the trial, everybody except the murderer is executed.
What?
It's fucked up, yeah.
Okay, so if you're... Okay, this is like a revelation to me. So if I'm playing Danganronpa, I have to either murder someone and get away with it, or like find out who did it, or frame someone else so that I don't die. Like, what's going on there?
So since it's a murder mystery, you as a protagonist, you're not going to be murdering anyone, but you have to find out who did the murdering and make sure that they get caught so everybody else survives.
And if you don't get them, everyone dies?
Game over. Yep.
Oh, it's game over. Oh, wow. Is it possible to get the wrong one?
Yeah, it is.
The game doesn't just like steer you into the right one if you just keep working at it?
Yeah, you can, so like in the trial, everybody gets to like talk. It's not like a trial, like a traditional trial. It's unique to the series, but everybody's like talking at the same time. You have to find statements that don't sound correct, that sound contradictory to the evidence that you have, and then say like, hey, that doesn't sound right, whatever. And then from there, you'll be able to deduce who was the murderer.
Wow. Okay. I honestly didn't know anything about Danganronpa. I've seen the bear. I think it's a bear.
What's it called? It's a plush teddy bear. It's like remote controlled.
Oh, it's remote controlled. Man, this game sounds like there's a lot to it.
Yeah, it's like he's the mascot of the killing game.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Might have to give that a look sometime. It sounds really interesting. I didn't know it had that much complexity and depth to it, honestly.
I believe they're all on PC, so it'd be good play.
Pretty cool. Well, sir, do you have any parting thoughts here?
I wish everyone good luck on their Castoria rolls. Everyone good luck on their Kazuha rolls. I hope everybody gets what they want from the GSSR, and also play Yakuza.
I just got this sinking feeling in my stomach because now you've reminded me that Castoria and Kazuha are in close proximity to one another.
They are dangerously close to each
Oh
other.
no. That's anxiety right there. Oh,
we'll get
man.
Castoria like next week, and then Kazuha in 2 weeks after that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, not a great time for Wallach-kun.
No, it's not.
Yeah, hopefully the SQ that we get from Annie, all the bonus stuff we're getting would be enough without having to open our wallet.
I'm really hoping so, man. Really hoping so. Well, dude, I really appreciate it, man. Honestly, it's been pretty cool. And I look forward to hanging out with you, not only in our own community, but in others as well, man.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, dude. All right, take care of yourself, man.
You too.